You too. I'm really excited to get into today's topic. And it's something that, I think is really important and um, poignant right now in society. People talking a lot about self-love, and I love what you've created with the self-love movement. So to get started, would you mind just telling us a little bit about your backstory and how the self-love movement started?
Absolutely. Um, so I had an experience in my life, which most people have. It's called the shake up to wake up, I should say. And when I was 24, I was faced with the biggest challenge of my life. I woke up to find my boyfriend at the time no longer alive. So as you can imagine, that was just destroying, soul destroying. My life got turned upside down, back to front, inside out. I was filled with grief, despair, hurt, everything possible. And what was a 24-year-old girl to do with that? We're not taught this stuff. So that really forced me to go really internal and start asking some really important questions about life and about this experience and about how to heal my life from this, because I knew that suffering wasn't it for me. I knew there was more. I was destined for more. So I began to do the searching I needed to come back home and create a life full of love. And I realized how I did that was by committing to myself and my happiness and my well-being. And that's actually what self-love is. So the power of harnessing self-love was getting me like these beautiful results in my life. People were coming to me and magic was coming to me and abundance was coming to me. And I was just, full of joy again. And it was just like an amazing journey to go through. So that's where I really knew the power of self-love and how it become my message to inspire other women with this too.
Wow, incredible. Huge to be able to experience that at age 24. And, I think it's something where I would love to delve a little bit deeper. When you think about back to that experience, obviously going through such suffering and grief, how did you find the strength to be able to move through that, to start asking different questions and change the way that you see things, to be able to move into self-love? Because I'm sure it wasn't a day of, oh, you know what, now I'm going to have self-love. Like there's a huge bridge there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I guess because I had nothing anymore, it was like I was at rock bottom. And when you're in that place of darkness, all you can do is have faith, full-time faith, I say. And I always had this inner calling within me from a very young age that I knew I was destined for greatness. I didn't know what that looked like or what that was or meant, but I just had to keep following that voice that was within inside of me. And I had a choice. And it was either to suffer and let this be who I was and be, that was my only identity, or I could do something with this. I could do something with my life. And that choice, that's empowerment really. So with the questioning I was asking, it was the right questions that I needed to ask myself to get the right answers and to take action steps to a better place, to a better quality life. And it definitely took a few years. So it's not a quick fix. Self-love is self-love is easy. Let me say that, because that all that self-love means is the regard for your own happiness and well-being. But the hard part, where everyone struggles with, is if you don't know who you are, you will never know how to make yourself happy or what benefits your well-being. So the challenge is knowing who you are. So, we all come here to remember who we are. And, that experience really taught me and showed me who I was. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So when you think about, that's even huge in itself, to be able to work out who you are. Because when you think about it at the moment, like there's so much talk about self-love on social media, and we do Self-Care Saturday and Self-Love Sunday, and people are posting different images about ways that they take care of themselves, which is all good and well, but how would you describe self-love a little bit more in depth than just having a manicure?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always say self-love is not about rainbows, butterflies and fairies. It's not bath bombs and all that. No. Self-love is hard and challenging because of the part where it comes back to self, and knowing who you are. So, we all have different definitions of self-love. Yes, the short, simple version, if you look at Dr. Google, it actually just says, the regard for your own happiness and well-being. But my definition is knowing myself, embracing myself, and becoming who I am on a true soul level. And that takes courage, because we live in a society that tells us we have to be the square when we're a circle, and we have to fit into the box. We get toxic imagery telling us that we should look like this or buy this to be happy, or to get millions of likes on Facebook or Instagram. And this starts at such a young age. So society has this toxicity about it, and it gives us this wounding within our self-worth, because we feel like we aren't worthy of love or likes on Facebook or Instagram or all these kind of things, just the way we are. So to be who you are in this society takes so much courage. And that's where, self-love can be easy when you get to that place of, full embodiment of who you are. Mm.
So could you possibly give us a couple of examples of what you would say self-love is, or how we do self-love?
Yes. So I guess the first part of self-discovery is, the questioning of, well, who am I? What lights me up? What motivates me? How do I work? What makes me tick? What makes me explode? How does that make me feel? Where are my boundaries? What are my core values? So it's really good questioning. It's our superpower, really, I believe. So that's the start, is those questions are really important questions of knowing who you are on that level. And then once you do all this internal work of, getting through these questions, it's discovering yourself within that. And then you can take steps. Then you can have bubble baths and rainbows because you know who you are and you're being who you are. And that's so magical. Yeah.
Love it. That's a really great way to look at it. It's really about discovering who you are and being unapologetically you. And being okay with the outside in regards to not ourselves, the outside world, not being okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you think about...
it's just like...
Sorry, go on.
It's just that internal focus, like switching your focus to become really within yourself, and not worrying about anything on the outside, and just worrying about yourself and your love and your worth and those kind of beautiful things. Yeah. Because when you do that work on the inside, your outside world shifts and reflects that. Mm. So yeah, it's so important, that part. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that true awareness, that self-awareness of knowing what you're not okay with and knowing what you prefer and being okay with setting those boundaries. I think that's one of the things that I often find is the missing element about self-love, and we're talking a lot about it. It's being able to stand up for yourself and actually put yourself first, and setting those boundaries with other people in your world that don't actually allow you to be you.
Yes. And getting so clear on those boundaries and values. I think values are really super important to get clear on, because if you don't have your values there, you're going to keep, doing things that, self-sabotaging your life, because you don't know what is important to you. And that's where self-love is messy, because if you don't have those values in place and boundaries in place, then doing things that you don't know actually help won't help.
Can you think of a time that maybe you found that something wasn't in line with your values and how that played out for you?
Yeah, it can be, wow, there's so many. It can be just even down to like the food I'm eating. So, I have a value about my health. That's a core value. My health is important to me. So if I'm not in alignment with that, and I'm eating, fast food or something that is high sugar or something like that, that doesn't make me feel good. And, that hurts, that misalignment. Yeah. So it can be across the board in every area of your life.
Yeah, true. And I love the word alignment, and I know it's a buzzword at the moment, but I really truly think it's the
Yes.
difference that can make or break the results that you see in your life, because when you are completely misaligned with what is true and important to you, then so much more things can go wrong and you don't realize why. Like, I think it's something
Mm.
people
Yeah.
talk about
Yes.
alignment.
Yes. Yeah, and self-awareness is like what you were getting at there, is like you have to be aware of your decisions and choices that you're making, because if you're not aware, then stuff gets messy and yeah, misalignment takes place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. So is there anything that you do, say if there's any practices that you do to be able to keep up in and keep
Hmm.
that self-awareness in your awareness?
Yes. Well, I do have acts of self-love which really fill me up and nourish me on that really beautiful soul level. And I have to commit to that because it is a commitment. I always say this: self love requires your commitment, dedication, persistence, and inspired action. So if you don't have those parts, you will not see results in your life. So for me to commit to my own happiness and well-being, I have to do, and let me say this because this is really important. Happiness, um, conditions do not equal happiness. Happiness equals conditions. So I'm not doing these things to make me happy. I know I'm happy. It's my birthright. It's my natural state. And I want to keep doing things that bring me, nourishment and fulfillment and pleasure and peace and joy. So that's really important for people to understand. So doing things, buying things, having things does not equal happiness. You are happy. It's your birthright. Something just went wrong along the way and we've been, fed a lie.
Yeah.
um, so, yes, so I start my morning with my morning rituals. That really, creates a beautiful space in my day. And that kind of looks different a lot of the time. But my usual one is going to the beach. And I know so you see my beautiful photos about, that I take on the beach. I just get mesmerized by the sunrises and just how beautiful the surroundings are. That nature is mother nature, she holds us. We're literally standing on her, and the nourishment she gives back is just so delicious, and I really delight in that. Like, it really fills me up. So that's my mornings, is at the beach with my dogs, with the sunrise, with mother nature, the sand in my toes, the wind on my skin. I'm just like fully immersed in her. um, and, I really do believe that I wouldn't be able to see the beauty around me if I didn't already see it within myself. And I only can say that because, I have experienced some pretty painful experiences, and that brings, funnily enough, a lot of beauty. There is beauty within pain, and I'm a witness to that. I've seen that. I'm, standing here and I can say that authentically, that yeah, the more pain I feel, the more beauty I experience. Um, I've sidetracked there,
That's okay.
but
That's
yeah. So yeah, the mornings are just so important for me to like really fill myself up. If I don't commit to that, then I really notice the difference in my day. It just doesn't flow. My emotions don't flow. That my state of being doesn't flow. So that's important to me, and I want to commit to that because I know how good it makes me feel. Yeah, and then the day goes out, and I'm just aware, self-awareness, and just yeah, making sure I'm in alignment with my values.
Yeah, beautiful. I totally agree with that. Like, setting your day up and actually starting on your terms can
Yeah.
set the rest of the day up. And I love that you bring in the word commitment, because it is actually
Yes.
committing to what is important to you. And
Yes.
when you do that and you don't actually start the day by reacting and start the day by someone
Mm-hmm.
else's terms, on, like checking your email and
Mm-hmm.
having to respond,
Yes.
checking social media and having to respond or be
Yes.
reactive in that
Mm.
situation. I think starting your day off on your terms in such beauty, and your photos are incredible. And I just
Mm.
love that you can really tap into, and when you start your day off, it's not only, even when you think about the brain and how that works,
Mm.
literally focusing on what is beautiful and
Yes.
what does bring you joy, sets yourself off for the rest of the day to actually recognize and notice those things throughout your day, because they are there. Sometimes we're just shut off to them.
We're just not seeing them. Absolutely. And I had another thing to say to that, but now it's left my mind.
That's okay. So tell me a little bit about how the self-love movement started. So you went through this huge experience, and then you started having people come to you and talk to you a little bit about self-love and how you've created that for yourself. And then it came and started this movement. So please tell me more about that.
Yeah, so at the time, you know, when I was awakening and stripping back all these layers to become myself, I started to really see friends that I had at the time. I saw the suffering that they were going through, and particularly like within their relationships and life and work life. And I was just trying to force self-love upon them, and that does not work. Please don't force. I learned that lesson. Regardless, like they're no longer in my circle anymore because, you know, I stripped back layers and shed all the stuff that didn't serve me, which included some people. But so I really was lacking that connection and my tribe and community that I needed. So that was like a question that I was having and asking the universe and myself, was just like, okay, like, what do I need to do next? And I remember just so clearly there was this day when I had this download of inspiration or intuition, and it came into my consciousness, and it said that, oh, you should start your own little breakfast and have some girls come, put it out on Facebook, talk about self-love. It'll be fun. And immediately my body responded to that with like goosebumps, and it felt so good in my body. And I knew I had to take action on it. So I took inspired, aligned action straight away. And I created a Facebook event, and I had my first get together in 2 weeks after that initial thought came in. So I took action within 2 weeks, which is so important, because if we don't take action, it's just going to be nothing. It's like a dream. It doesn't come into reality. And at that time, I had no experience with doing events. You know, I come from a corporate background doing business consulting. And it was like, oh, okay, I don't need to know how, really. Okay, I'm just going to show up and be the messenger and the vehicle here. Sure. And at the time, I was also doing a lot of self-development work, and I was always the youngest one there. So I really wanted to be that inspiration for the younger women. I wanted to call them in and be like, hey, girls, where are you at? Why don't you want to learn this stuff? It's like powerful. Come on. And that's when that message came in. So we got together. It was so incredible, like profound, Christine. Like, it was beautiful. There was 20 women that came, and you know, I was like, wow, really? And what I created was a space, a safe space, for women just to be heard and be felt and be seen and be loved. And you know, they're our basic human needs, and we are lacking that in our community. There's so much striving, there's so much tall poppy syndrome. It's, you know, tearing each other down, comparison, jealousy, you know, social media, like so much stuff. So I wanted to create that space where we could just be who we are without judgment and just complete compassion and love. And so everyone had a chance to share a little bit about themselves and what self-love meant for them. And it was so profound, that part, because it gave all these women a little platform for them to just step up and have space and be vulnerable. And there was tears and there was laughter, and we just had such a beautiful morning over breakfast. And they all came to me afterwards and said, you have to do this again. Please do this again. And at that time, I was like, I had no expectation or like attachment to the outcome. I was just literally showing up and following this little inner call that I received. And I was like, well, okay, so this might be a thing. Okay, I'll do it again. And then 4 weeks later, I had my second breakfast event, and 40 women came. So
wow.
Then, so I doubled straight away, and I was like, whoa, wow, okay, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm telling this. Like, that was just incredible. So I got one of my beautiful best friends to come and speak, and she's Tamika, her name is. She spoke about, you know, the goddess and embracing your inner goddess and letting that out. And it was such a beautiful feminine topic. And yeah, well received. So from then I just realized, okay, like, I need to keep doing this. This is amazing. This makes me feel good too. And to be in service for these women, wow, that feeling was just incredible. So that's how I started, and I've never looked back, and I've had an event every month from then on, and I filled the room every month. So then it got to a point where I realized, oh wow, this message is way bigger than me. Like, I want to be able to serve as many women as I can with this gift, because it's a community. It's like a loving tribe that we can be empowered and inspired and supported. So we all need that, right? We all need that place. So I got the message to create an ambassador program. So I created a self-love ambassador role. So what that is I call in my tribe of leaders in this space with me who inspire and create the community within their community. And that's how we've been spreading. So we've got 6 locations now. So there's 6 self-love ambassadors, and we're growing, and it's really beautiful, really beautiful.
That's incredible. I just love that you've taken, you really actually acted on that inspirational download, because a lot of people get them and think it's just this whim or this thought and don't actually necessarily act on it. And when ideas and magic come your way like that, I just love that you've just acted on it, and then the universe has just gone, here you go.
Here you go. Well, I know that the universe supports flow energy. It doesn't support stagnant energy. And if you've been given that download, if that inspiration, you are going to be given the next step of how to do it. You wouldn't have received it if you weren't capable or worthy of acting on it. So it's just a matter of I got out of my own way and trusted that I didn't need to know the how or anything. I just showed up and did it, and just the rewards paid off. And I have to keep reminding myself of that if ever I get this new idea and they get bigger. Of course, they get bigger and the fear might creep in, but it's just no, step up, get out of your own way. Face it, do it, and it's a beautiful ride.
How do you feel these events have actually changed or transformed you since the beginning?
Wow, yeah, it's funny that you said that, because I hosted, well, actually, I normally host my ones on the Gold Coast that I have, but I was the guest speaker for my last one. So my beautiful little assistant, she hosted me. She actually said she's been there from day one. Just what she has seen in me, the change that these events have brought within me, it's been incredible. And I know that I feel it. Just like this, stepping into my true self, my authentic self. This is what I want to do. This is who I am. This is my gift, and I'm embraced and I'm sharing it with other women. So I remember my first ever. It's funny because before I was doing these events, I'd go to these breakfast networking events, and how they give you the microphone and you have to step up and say something about yourself. Well, when it was coming around to me, my heart was racing so much. I was so crippled with fear, because we have that nice little old thing called fear of judgment or rejection. We all experience that in some shape or form. And I just remember that girl that I used to be, and how, that was so fearful for me. And now you give me a microphone, I'll be happy to step up and speak. So little things like that, it's just this confidence and this knowing and my wisdom and it's just growth, beautiful growth. Growth is so delicious. And yes, change can be really uncomfortable and disruptive, but the more I embrace change, because change is the only constant, right? We should learn to dance with change. I've learned to embrace change as much as I can and just step into my truth more and more and more.
So how do you find that you've actually learned to change like that?
Because I was forced to. Going back to that really traumatic experience that I went through, the life just got taken from me, everything taken from me, and that was out of my control. So there's a level of certainty we have, and then the level of uncertainty that we have, and they're both powerful within themselves. But funnily enough, we like to control things so much, and deny uncertainty so much, but it's a basic need, uncertainty. There's magic within there. So I know that change, I had to face change. Like my life got changed without my control, out of my control, I should say. So I've taken that within, other aspects of my life and just gone, you know what, I can't control things. They are out of my control. Some things, most things. I can control how I show up in that respect, but life changes and there's magic within that, because I look back and think, well, I'm grateful for that experience. It's shown me, and I've remembered who I am, like within that dark place. There's beautiful things that have grown from that, and that was a change. It's like we have this spiritual compass. It's our heart, and these really big things that affect us, like these challenges that we all face, they're like pivotal trajectory line change on so they change our trajectory. That's what happens, and it changes our compass and we follow our truth even more.
Love that, because I think we often spend so much time and energy trying to control things, when you just allow things to happen and recognize that all you can control is your own way of reacting and your own way of showing up, and still being in alignment with who you are and what's important to you. I think that's huge, awesome. So what's been your favorite part about the events?
The connection that I feel and see of women just getting together in that really safe space. That is just so beautiful. Like to see the joy and the love and compassion of connection and community. I have some favorite C words: community, connection, collaboration, co-creation. They're my C bombs. I love that aspect of the event so much.
Has there been anything surprising for you?
Oh, surprising. I think the growth was surprising because I had no attachment to it. So from like that just kind of dumbfounds me how that little inspirational download that I got turned into this beautiful movement. Like that sort of surprises me a lot, of how, wow, one little thing can be so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just allowed it to happen. So I think it's something that really just goes to show that you don't have to, know every step of the way. You don't have to know the how. You just have to trust and just go with it.
Show up. Yeah, show up and be the vehicle and get out of your own way.
Have the events or the actual self-love movement changed in any way from how it first started?
Yes. I've implemented things, or I've made things better, or I've taken things out, or I've added things. I think it's common for every entrepreneur, right? Like it's testing, it's trialing, it's not like, I don't like saying failing, because there's never such a thing. It's always learning. So yeah, of course, the first event, it was just literally kind of a little get together with no real agenda other than just the space and self-love. And then I've just, it's grown into, okay, well, I'll have an email list now, and I'll have to be everywhere on social media now, and I have to build more tribe. We do love letters as well, so everyone's a love letter when they walk into that room. And they're always different, little special little love note for everyone. So there's little things that I implement and change and add or take out along the way, definitely. Yeah. But the concept has not changed.
Okay, cool. So for people who are wanting to attend an event, what can they expect from showing up at one of your self-love movement events?
Connection, safety, inspiration, support, empowerment, so much love. So this is a place where there's no judgment. You can just come and be who you are, and know that is perfect. You are perfect. You are beautiful. Like, you don't need to be anyone other than who you are in that space. And there's educational stuff too. Like, I want to give you as much resources and tools as possible for everyone who comes into that space to walk away with something new, something that they can change or implement or add and grow from.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. And is it just for women?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Awesome. So where do you see the self-love movement going long term? Do you have a vision that you plan to achieve?
Yes, definitely. So I want to keep growing the community aspect of it, which I feel is more passion-based. It's full of passion for me. But then I'm going to implement some online courses within the self-love movement. So that's going to like dive deep into self-love and really, going deep within that space of empowering and inspiring women even more. So that's in the process. So I'm creating some courses. So that is what I see the main pillar to be, and then the community is the second pillar.
Cool. And where are the locations for each one, just so everyone knows?
Yep. So we have Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, 2 on the Gold Coast. I've got Broadbeach and Currumbin. I have Adelaide, and I have my newest one on Canberra, which we're launching next weekend, which is so exciting.
That's cool. And how does one become an ambassador?
So I have a little form on my website. So if you just go to my website, which is www.theself-lovemovement.com, you can find out more about what that means to be an ambassador and fill out the form, and we can jump on a call and go from there.
Cool. Awesome. And could you give us a breakdown of what the next event is going to be here in Brisbane?
Yeah, so 23rd of June, it's going to be about sexuality, sacredness and self-love by one of my beautiful favourite speakers, Jodie Milton. My ambassador there, her name's Amanda. She's amazing. So sexuality, wow, such a big topic, and I think really important for us women to learn more about, like to feel safe within our body and within our sexuality. It's a huge topic. So Jodie has this beautiful wisdom that she carries through her story and her message, and she's just got this beautiful feminine presence, which I know everyone loves and I love. She's going to be talking a lot about shame, so sexual shame and body shame, and how to liberate yourself and really own your sexuality. It's going to be really beautiful.
Wow, that's a huge topic.
Very.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that I put all the links in the show notes so then everyone can jump on there and book tickets if they'd like to attend. So is there anything that you do to celebrate some successes or anything that you achieve along the way of creating this? How do you celebrate your wins?
I dance.
Awesome.
I dance, do a little happy dance. I think I turn it back to myself and just like fill myself up and I be my own best friend. That's a really important part of self-love, like being your own best friend. Like, what would you tell your best friend if they had success? I tell myself those things. And I think that's really beautiful, being your own best friend. Yeah.
I love that. That's a really cool concept to think about. Be your own cheerleader. Love it.
Be your own cheerleader. Exactly.
If there has been one, and I don't like to use the word failure, but lesson along the way, what would you say that's been?
Yeah. So in business, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There was in the early stages, I didn't have any speaker agreements or terms in place because I didn't really know it was going to be such a thing. So there was this speaker that came in and she pretty much walked all over me, and because I had no boundaries there. I didn't have my clear boundaries in place. So she walked all over me. She filmed something and she made it out to be her own event, and I was really gutted. So, but that was my lesson. Like, I needed to have boundaries in place to say this is what you can and shouldn't do. So that was a huge lesson for me. So after then, I got my agreement in place, and it's been the best thing ever. It's just like this next level. I'm an expert, and I know what I'm doing now. So that was like my first biggest learning and curveball in the business.
Yeah, cool. And I think that really kind of, protects the experience that you want for your clients that are showing up. Yeah, that's huge.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we have to have these boundaries in business. Yeah, it's important.
So tell me, how did you create that boundary? Because I know this is like often becomes a real sticky situation, or it can become a topic that has a lot of guilt around it, has a lot of fear around setting a boundary. So how did you go about setting that boundary and standing your ground?
Yeah, I did it. Like, it's radical acceptance and radical action. So I just knew that I had to put it in place. And I just did it. And I just was like, no, this is me. This is what I'm worth. This is what the business is worth. This is what, I think it's important and crucial for our business and growth and the community. So it was just like, no, I know this is important. And if I know this and I stick to this, and this is who I am, and this is what my business is, then yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And I think it's like, it's coming back to your values, right? So you really
Values.
know your
Yeah.
values,
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
exactly what's important to you, and you're able to hold the ground for that.
Yeah. And it comes back to your worth as well. Like, there's um, nothing wrong with having boundaries and having rules that you need to, follow and agree to. And it's just that, like, understanding. I'm not here to win or anything like that. I'm here to collaborate and co-create with other women. So, that's what I expect. And it's a really beautiful exchange when you have that. Yeah.
Nice. And so just to finish up, if there is someone listening today that feels that this is something like a new introduction to them and understanding self-love and what it means, what would you say their first step would be to creating that self-awareness?
It's coming back to the questioning. So I would suggest spending some time in, some stillness or some peaceful environment where you can just drop into yourself and ask the important questions that you need to ask. Questions are your superpower. So ask the questions like, okay, well, who am I? That in my signature self-love movement event, the importance of self-love day, the first question in the workbook is describe yourself. And the amount of people I see stuck on that question, it's interesting. It's like, I had this lady say, well, I don't know, like, I've had all these identities. I've been a mother, I've been a wife, I've been this. I'm like, well, I don't know who I am. I was like, I know, you're not the only one. There is a lot of women who do not know who they are, and they hit that crisis point, and then, chaos happens. So start by asking, just who am I? Describe myself. What do I love? What do I not love? Like, what triggers me? Where do I feel at peace? Where do I not feel at peace? Yeah, it's like, that's the first step I would suggest to do. So do some really beautiful questioning around yourself.
Yeah, awesome. And I think I love it how you're like, what don't I love? Because a lot of people can quite often and quite openly say what they don't like and what they, not even about themselves, what they don't like about themselves. And it's like, if you
Yeah.
take that and then turn that around to something that you do love,
Yes.
that is
Yes.
a huge shift
Yeah.
in what you see and believe in yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to get both sides out. Say, well, this is what I do love, and this is what I don't. Be like super clear and super vulnerable, and be like, this is where I'm struggling with. Like, I'm finding it hard to love these parts about myself. Getting it out on pen and paper, you can see it. And I had this client once that she's never written out the things that she didn't like about herself, and when she saw it, she was like, oh my God, wow. And she never realized how much of herself she wasn't loving. And then when you get clear on that, you can take steps to really work on that and learn how I can love these parts of me, because that's what life is. We're trying to learn to love who we are, like the dark parts included, especially dark parts. And we all have that. That's our shadow self, our ego, and all these things. Yeah, so being like really clear, okay, these things I'm struggling with, get it out, and then try and make steps to really bring them into love. Yeah.
And that makes it so real, like, because often we're so stuck in our heads that we've got all those
Yes.
different things going through our heads that when you actually put it on paper, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that I would ever think
Yes.
about myself. And then
Yeah.
I often ask my clients, like, would you ever say that out loud to a friend or a child? Would you ever say that you don't deserve
Mm.
something? Would you ever say that you're not
Mm.
worthy of love? Like, there's huge, huge
Mm.
shifts that can happen in just that realization of, I didn't even realize I was saying that to myself.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like being your own police officer is another important part of self-love. So like catching yourself out when you're thinking silly thoughts, and disassociating from those thoughts, like just knowing that I'm not my thoughts. Yes, I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. You know, that my brain might offer me some silly ideas and silly thoughts. You know, I don't have to believe them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that can actually turn ourselves into becoming quite small and holding ourselves
Yeah.
back from actually achieving things, because we start to believe the nonsense that goes on in our heads. And
Yes.
we
Yes.
sometimes, and I think that's one of the main things, the reasons why I love coaching, is because it's about recognizing those thoughts that aren't serving you, and you
Mm-hmm.
have the control and the ability to change those. And
Mm,
it's something that you don't have to
absolutely.
believe them and move forward from that space. When you change those
Yeah.
beliefs, so much more
Yes.
can come from that. So that's huge. I'm glad
Yes.
we got into that.
Yeah, and like a thing that I say to do is like offer a counter thought. Like if you're having a thought that doesn't serve you or doesn't make you feel good, offer the counter thought and really like I heard this quote one time. It was be it until you are it instead of fake it until you
Make it.
make it. So be it until you are it. Yeah. And it's like, yes, so true. Just like keep being it until you are it. It's like forcing a new neuro pathway in your brain for a new belief that does serve you. So it's offering counter thoughts that is the opposite of what you thought, and just really keep pushing that into your head
Yeah.
and really believing that, and it creates that new pathway, and it shifts. Yeah.
Incredible. Awesome. This has just been so good today. Thank you so much for delving into this a little bit deeper with me.
You're welcome. Thank you for opening this conversation up. It's delicious.
I love that word. That's hilarious. So is there anything that you feel that you wish you were asked about when it comes to self-love that you don't often get asked?
Yeah, it's the challenge within self-love. Um, I think that there's a lot of stigma around self-love. Like it's a silly, fluffy word, and it gets thrown around a lot. So I don't like seeing it get thrown around a lot. Like self-love is hard like that. Yeah, I know I said in the beginning self-love is easy, but the hard part is knowing yourself. Like that is where the challenge is. So, you know, I'm really tired of surface level stuff. You know, I'm seeing it so much everywhere. Like I want to get deep. I want to know the challenges facing, how you're really feeling. Like tell me, without just saying, you know, you go to the checkout at the supermarket and you're having a really shitty day and they say, how are you going? Good. Actually, no, be vulnerable. Say, how are you? You know, so that's what I would like to say is just like actually be real and be honest and say how you are truly. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to say I'm awesome when I'm actually awesome.
Yes. So true. So true. Because yeah, we like to dim our light sometimes, don't we? Mm.
Absolutely. It goes both ways, you
Mm.
know. When you think about, you don't like to be around people that talk doom and gloom all the time, but you know,
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
getting real and actually talking about how you really are, whether you're not okay or you are okay. But then on the
Mm.
flip side, when something great
Mm.
happens, don't necessarily dim your
Mm.
light or think that it's going to affect someone else, make them feel bad because you're doing well. Like that's not fair either. So really being able to go, you know what? I had an incredible day today. This happened and I'm so excited. Like actually
Yes.
allowing yourself to feel that joy within
Yes. I think that's where the importance of your tribe, like having your real tribe around you, your sisters, your community, your support. So they want to celebrate your wins and your losses. Like that's where you need to be, with those people who really, really value you and love you so much. Yeah.
I love that, because it's something that, you know, I've tried to create with my events here in Brisbane, is really connecting on a real level, because we
Mm.
often show up as this carbon copy, or we show up as what we think other people want to hear. and
Yeah.
don't necessarily connect from our truth. And
Yeah, and that's like heart-centered stuff, right? You know, the more you can be from your heart, the more you're going to attract your tribe that are on the same frequency with that.
yeah, absolutely. And then you never get scared about celebrating something.
No, I want to hear it all.
Absolutely. So what do you say has been
Yes.
your proudest moment?
Oh, my proudest moment. At the moment, actually, this is what's coming up at the moment, is building my team of ambassadors. That is, yeah, really beautiful to see that I've created this heart-centered business that I'm calling in my tribe of leaders, and just to have that leadership team. And yeah, I think I'm pretty proud about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Incredible. I just want to acknowledge you for your openness and your honesty today. I think it's been absolutely refreshing to see that you're so open to talking about the suffering and the pain that you've been through, but and how you've actually changed it and turned it around to be something that has
Yeah.
created your truth. So I just want to acknowledge you there, and thank you so much for your honesty and truth today.
Thank you. And it's just like, you know, I've taken this life to be a leader, and what that means for me is like I'm being the voice for the struggles that everyone face. So I'm no different to anyone else, but I'm here being really vulnerable and transparent and authentic, and just being like, yeah, this is real. This stuff happens and it hurts. And like fully allowing myself to feel it all and be really messy in the pain. But just like, if I could say, like, to all these people listening, if there's some challenge or if you're facing suffering within your reality, just know that you can transmute that pain and suffering into passion and purpose. It is absolutely possible. That is why we are gifted with these painful experiences, to transform and transcend above them and create a world which is so full of love. And, you know, pain is our catalyst. It will move us to the place we want to go to. We just have to open our mind, open our soul, and receive the blessings and the insights and the lessons and the magic.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. And the magic. Love it.
And the magic. I love that word. I say it all the time. Magic, magic, magic.
And like
Life is magic.
you say it, more magic comes your way.
Yes, yes. We live in a magical world.
We do, we do. So thank you so much for your time today. I'll make sure I put all the links in the show notes so that people can get to some of your next events, and they can obviously reach out to you on social media and through your website.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for opening this up, Christine, and the work you do. And yeah, I love it. And I love being able to be in your tribe now. It's awesome.
Absolutely. We are all here to be able to connect and collaborate with each other. So thank you so much for joining me.
Yes.